welcome to Intervisor. My name is Mykola Vorobyov. I'm a Ukrainian journalist and political expert. Today we have Sooran Maruf. So he is a British Kurdish broadcast journalist with an extensive experience working in this area. He's a filmmaker, a good friend of Ukraine. He spent years working in Iran, Kurdistan. Now he resides in London, and he just visited Ukraine. And he is interested about the situation here, the simmering conflict in Russia, in Donbass, annexation of Crimea, and so forth. So welcome, Sooran.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank you for having me.
Sooran, he is a very interesting. He's not just a journalist, but he also produced movies, and this is not your first time in Ukraine. So tell about your background. So what are you doing here, and what's your mission in Ukraine?
Yeah, Ukraine. I see Ukraine as a country. It might look like, or I can say, it's close, kind of another Kurdistan for me. I like Ukrainian people. They're very brave and with a long history. So they were for many years, for decades. They were freedom fighters, and because I have similar history, or my people have similar history, so therefore I support Ukrainian people, and they're very kind people. The Ukraine has a very long history, and it's a beautiful country. So you see me here every now and then.
Especially in this season, right? In the fall season. We call it velvet season.
That's true.
So, Sooran, you have an extensive experience. You speak 5 languages. So this is Arabic, Farsi, Kurdish, English, and Dari. So
I'm trying to learn Russian, of course.
But you understand in Russian, right?
Just a little bit.
Can you put some parallels, because you mentioned that you work in Kurdistan? Can you put some parallels? Because recently we celebrated the 30th anniversary of Ukraine's independence. It's August 24. So tell us please about maybe the mentality about Kurdish people and Ukrainians, and about your path to independence.
First of all, Ukraine was liberated in 1991, and at the same time, the Kurdistan, the Iraqi Kurdistan region was liberated as well, although it's part of Iraq still, but it's governing itself. So, but what Ukraine achieved within the past 30 years, I think the Kurdistan region in Iraq is going backwards instead of having more development and more freedom. For example, in Kurdistan, we don't have any more press, freedom of speech. Many Kurdish journalists were killed just because they spoke out.
In Iraq, you mean?
In Iraq, in Kurdistan region, yes. There are 2 parties in Kurdistan. They are controlling and running the area, the region. They actually, you can call them family parties. One of them is Kurdistan Democratic Party, which is the president of the region, always from that party, and vice president is from PUK. It's the Patriotic Union of Kurdistan, and it's like they have the cake is being.
So it's like right-wing and left-wing parties. So they what's their ideology, or it's just about the name? So is it like
actually
Party
from the beginning?
States?
Kurdistan Democratic Party is democratic just in name. It's been from the beginning until now just a family party.
Because in Ukraine we officially have over 300 registered parties. That's complicated.
We have similar thing in Kurdistan, but you know, after these all elections these years, There are two main parties, KDP and PUK, and there are few other parties. They all part of the government. Even the opposition, they have part in the what they call it in the there's a the cake, like they have a piece of that cake. So there are a few Islamic parties. Some of them supported by KDP and Turkey and Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Iran. And of course, KDP has a very good relation with Turkey. We have in Kurdistan about 3,000 Turkish companies. You can say Turkey is running Kurdistan for now. But on the other hand, I think Ukraine has done very well. First of all, what I can say that Ukrainian people now more loyal, more patriotic to Ukraine, and I think there are a good number of people. They're trying to work in developing the country and introducing the country to the world, because really many people don't know about Ukraine. What they know is, what happened to Crimea and in Donbass and the war there. So I think with more active people like the ones I mentioned, Ukraine can have a brighter future.
And have you met any Kurdish community here in Ukraine?
Unfortunately, no. I have seen few people, but no, I haven't met any Kurdish community.
As far as you mentioned, Sōrān, so you run 5 YouTube channels, which are in Kurdish and in Arabic. So PTV, PTV2, People TV, the Truth TV. So tell us about this, please.
Yes, the first 3 channels are in Kurdish. LV TV, which is London Voice, it's in Arabic. The Truth TV, it's in Arabic, but it's a Christian channel. The first 3 channels, we concentrate more on religious issues and, of course, politics. Mainly, we want to show the truth of Quran and Islamic faith, and comparing the Islamic faith with other religions like Judaism or let's say the Christian faith. And of course, we have political programs. We have general programs as well in those 3 channels. The London Voice it's mostly general programs, but I have a target from that channel to introduce the North Africa to people, the real North Africa, who was living in this area. It's a very wide.
You mean Arabic
territory.
speakers?
Arabic speakers, yes. But because North Africa was in reality, it was Amazigh land. Amazigh, Berber, and Tawarik, but it was taken over by Islam and Arabs, and now all the countries in North Africa, the original people, they're minority, and they don't even have rights to speak in their languages in most of those countries. So my point is to show the truth about those people.
So they are prohibited to speak Arabic or Kurdish?
No, they're actually they're not Kurdish, but they're similar to Kurdish. The Amazigh, for example. They're very they have a very rich culture, but this culture is covered by Islamic culture, and of course they have no right even to speak in their language.
But do they have access to your channels, or they just try?
Yes,
These countries they just try to ban the channels or something?
I haven't faced that yet.
If somebody caught, for example, for the watching of your channels, so are they persecuted or what?
Until now, I haven't faced that challenge, but we're expecting that, of course. Yeah. But for example, some journalists, they wanted to join me from Algeria, but and they're working in the state television, but they were prevented from doing that.
So your channels, is it your private initiative or it's supported by the state?
No, actually, it's very private. Yeah, no support, unfortunately.
And it was
and I don't accept any support if it's conditioned. Yeah.
And coming back from North Africa, coming back to Turkey, so what the situation? Because like Ukrainian audience, most of them, they're interested about the relationships, for example, between Putin and Erdogan. So tell us about the situation in Turkey right now, and maybe some of your tips how Ukraine should accept Turkish, because on the other hand, Erdogan seems like more authoritarian leader and reminds us of Putin. On the other hand, they did not recognize the annexation of Crimea, and when we had Crimean platform last month, they even sent their representative, a minister. So basically, it's like two both, like the coin from both sides. So can you explain us your perspectives, please, and maybe some tips
I think
to our leadership?
Turkey is playing the game of keeping the balance between European Union and the relation with the US and Russia, of course. Therefore, if Turkey is not recognizing the annexation of Crimea, it's just to keep that balance, because I'm sure with Russia behind the scenes they have another agenda. But the thing is, because Turkey is part of the NATO, so I think it would be very unrealistic to admit or recognize the annexation of Crimea. But Turkey is playing a very dirty game in the area. In Iraq, Syria, in Libya, and other countries, of course, Azerbaijan and Armenia as well. So I think Erdogan tries to bring back the Ottoman Empire, even in a smaller version. So trying to have access to all the countries around Turkey. As I said, in Kurdistan already they have they have a control there, and KDP is helping in that. In
the party,
yes,
the Kurdish party.
Yes, and that's the short version of what's Erdogan is trying to do, is to bring back the Ottoman Empire, in my opinion.
And in terms with the relationships with Russian, because we know in 2015 they shut down Russian jet, for example. It was a heavy clashes. Then it was a attempt of the coup in Turkey. Like
the coup was a scenario, I think, just to get rid of the opposition, especially his ex-friend Abdullah Gulen. It was a very, very well-organized scenario. That's my opinion. With Russia, Turkey is trying to have always something to bargain with Europe and US. So Erdogan tries to keep a good relation with Putin.
To be a leader in the region
To be a leader in the region. Yes. So,
but eventually they get along with Putin. What do you think? I mean, if there is a Ukraine will be at stake.
I'm sure they have a very good relation.
But in terms of Ukraine is at stake, let's say they achieved some deals. So, for example, because it got Putin angry when Turkish say
I expect Erdogan to keep a very good relation with Ukraine, to even have another card to use against Russia if needed. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's your duty, or your leader's duty, to keep aware, to stay aware and know about this, and not to become a card for Turkey.
Yeah, because recently we purchased some battle drones from Turkey, as you know, which got Putin very angry, because we can use it like Turkish and Azeri, for example, used in the Second Karabakh War last year. So basically, which makes them people in Kremlin very angry, because we have this military cooperation with Turkey.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a sad thing. I don't like to see that, but what can you do?
So we call it real politics.
Yes.
So Sven, tell us about your experience. So you said that you speak also Farsi.
Yes.
As far as you know, people in Ukraine are concerned, and of course we have, usually when it happens, we have a lot of so-called experts. They are experts on everything, so they can comment the gas price, the local politics, and so forth. But seriously, I want to ask you about the situation in Afghanistan. So basically, we know that the Taliban, they took over Kabul recently, and now it will be a 20th anniversary of 9/11 attack. So, and what's your experience? Because you have the access of the first-hand information there, and you can speak their language. So, what's your perspective about Taliban? What will happen next? What the debacle of the Western allies? Why it happened? And is there a threat of the global terrorism in the future?
Actually, as you know, like Al-Qaeda was created and supported by CIA against Russia, and the
Soviet war in 1979.
It was used. Some people maybe say Sōraan is one of those conspiracy theory people. I really think Al-Qaeda was used in 9/11 as well, to have an easy access to the Arab world, Arabic countries, where the Arab Spring happened later on. So I think that was the scenario for that time. Now Taliban has been used the same. I think it's a deal between
used by whom? By the West?
By US. Not West in general, no, but by US. I think there's a deal between Taliban and USA, and the deal is for Afghanistan to become a corridor managed by Taliban, for terrorists to pass through, of course, from Turkey to Afghanistan, then to neighboring countries of Russia, the countries who have a good relation with Russia, and they neighbor with Russia as well. So I think in the very near future we'll see that result coming out.
So what do you think the goal? So the West want to have the
goal
corridor,
is
so to pass for this Taliban. So what, to influence the region, or so if they were fighting for 20 years, so why they gave up now?
To have a weaker borders with Russia. You know, I mean, to weaken Russia, to make Russia busy with this problem instead of taking part in the global decision.
So do you expect any again military incursion from Russia to Afghanistan? Or they will,
I think
to tell us more about the Taliban.
Listen, Putin is a very clever guy. I think he knows what's going on. If I know, or some other people know about this scenario, what do you think? Russia or Kremlin, they don't know about it? It's impossible. I think they have their own backup plans, but that's the scenario I see.
You mean so they will, in the end of the day, the militarily, Russians will come to Afghanistan in the
If
future?
needed, I think they will, yes.
So what the possibility? Is it high, or they may reach some deal with
No,
Taliban?
it depends how how much the Taliban and US plan is effective. Then, of course, Russia will decide. I'm sure they have different scenarios to deal with that.
So the ultimate goal of Taliban is just to go to Russia, you think? Or just to
No,
go
no,
to
not
Uzbekistan?
Taliban itself. Not Taliban itself. You know, something like ISIS or Al Qaeda. You know, they create. They have in Chechen. They controlled it in Chechen.
What is it?
They control the situation in Chechen, or what you call it, yeah. And but I mean, they will create a similar situation in Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and those countries. Especially they have an Islamic background, and it's easy to manipulate the people in those countries if they had access to it.
And what do you think would be the application for Ukraine into Europe, for example? So if it leads to the spreading of the terrorism in that region, so basically they go to the may they come here like to Eastern Europe? What's the ultimate goal? To destabilize Russia, to destabilize their allies, or?
The thing is, we always have to be careful. We always have to be careful, and we have to have a backup plan for anything like this, any scenario like this. We have to be careful with our relations with Turkey, with Qatar, especially, Iran, Saudi Arabia. So I think Ukraine has to be, study its relations with those countries very well.
Okay, tell us about what the nature of Taliban and why the reason of their success. So basically, what can you tell about the movement from within?
I think they were giving an easy access to Kabul,
but no,
because all these years they've been fighting, trying to take over cities and areas, and they were sometimes successful, and most of the time not, because of the American troops there.
First and foremost, this is an ideological movement, right? So they're like Sunni, Shia, Islamists. So how you can describe the Taliban?
Taliban,
or is just the name?
Taliban is just another group, terrorist group, like any other Islamic groups. Any Islamic group, even the ones they say that they're not. Islam has different faces. Okay, so they have very like ISIS. I don't know how to describe
they have more a secular wing, more radical.
Yes. Yeah. So Taliban is similar to ISIS and Al Qaeda, because they implement the real Islamic ideology. But and it doesn't matter if it's Sunni or Shia. It's all the same, because the base is the same.
So they are radical Islamists. Can you say this?
Yes.
And is there, so as far as we know, the ideologies, they don't know about the borders, right? So basically, is there a possibility, because there is a Muslim population in Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and other places, do you think it may spread there, like through the ideology?
That's the plan. That's the plan, to spread in these countries.
So why didn't it spread before?
But not Taliban itself. Taliban is in Afghanistan. It will stay.
It will stay there. So they won't cross the border.
Foreign fighters, like it happened in Syria and Iraq, foreign fighters will pass through Turkey to Afghanistan and spread in those countries.
Why didn't do this before? Because of the Western presence?
No, there was other reasons. I'm sure the time wasn't right for that, and. Every plan or scenario, it takes a few years. So they were busy with the Middle East, with changing the systems in Middle East. But now it's the right time, and they showed that they have similar plan for Afghanistan to have a democratic turn it to a democratic country and things
Taliban.
like system. No, US.
US, yes.
Yeah. But now it's
Under the Taliban, it will be very.
now it's the time. No, of course, Taliban would. There's, it's two things against each other: Islam and democracy. It's impossible they live together. So, but now it's the right time. I think they control the Arab world again. And now I think it's the right time for them to have this deal to damage Russia in a way.
You mean Americans?
Yes.
So on the other hand, so also it sounds dramatic for the Middle East, but it's a good news for Ukraine, which means that Russian, they will shift their attention from Ukraine, from this front, to the Middle East. Don't you think so?
Actually, I think Ukraine shouldn't be part of any game like that.
Yeah, but basically we see the concentration of Russian forces. They are on the Ukrainian border right now. And now they have to send them to Asia.
Yes, maybe
so
you have a less
shift their attentions. Yes.
You have a less pressure there, and but I think again I want to say that Ukraine shouldn't become a card in U.S. hand or Russia. I think Ukraine should keep a very good relation with both sides, because you don't want to destroy your nation. You want to develop it.
Yeah, I agree, but we are under the Russian aggression right now.
That doesn't matter. You need a good leader. With all my respect to your politicians, you need a good leader to do that, to keep the balance. You don't want Ukraine to become a battle area.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, so when you are the victim of the attack, so you don't determine either you should stop or you can proceed, basically, because the aggressor decides who attacks. So
no, that's true. That's true. I'm not saying that. I know you defending your.
Yes, that's it. So
country.
it's not our choice.
No. I know you defending your country, but still, a good politician can keep Russia friendly as much as U.S. and West.
You mean like some kind of neutrality?
Yes.
Got you. Saran, tell us about also about your future plans here in Ukraine, because you told you are going just to run some TV channel in Arabic and other languages about Ukraine, or what are your future plans in regards to our country?
If I get the right people to help me with it, I'm planning to have a YouTube channel in both Russian and Ukrainian language to highlight the daily issues of Ukraine. I think this channel could help easing the tensions even between the Ukrainian and Russian speakers. And on the other hand, we can have some investigative journalism through that channel. So I need to discuss that with more colleagues here in Ukraine, in Kiev.
So thank you, Saran, for this interesting conversation. We look forward to having you here with your production, with your TV and your programs. And today we had Saran Maruf. He is a broadcast journalist living in Britain, speaking 5 languages, and a good friend of Ukraine. Thank you very much.